All right. Well, thank you guys for both coming. So appreciate you all for being here. It is Financial Literacy Month for April, so we're very excited to be putting this on. I've introduced myself, but I'll do it again. My name is Austin Norman. I'm with Regions Bank. I've been there for like 7 years. I have a fancy title, but essentially I'm just a branch manager. Here to help with that. And then Miss Joya, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, as I said, I'm the Executive Director of Arkansas Asset Builders, and the majority of what we do is help people with their taxes, but we see taxes as just one piece of the financial puzzle, and so we really want to provide additional financial literacy programs around budgeting and saving and paying down your debt, building your credit. All those topics are really central to a lot of folks' lives. So this is part of what we're doing as well.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for coming. This is a little disclaimer. I know it's a little bright in here, but it's all right. This is just for general guidance. So this isn't a specific sort of rules or anything like that. Just general guidance just to kind of help out with financial literacy. We do offer like one-on-one coaching, just like Joya offered one-on-one tax prep, tax help. So everybody, I always say, everybody's financial situation is as unique as their fingerprint. so this advice may not quite fit for you, but most of it will, and it's really good behavior on that and kind of going from there. So one thing we're going to do today is we're going to create a personal spending and savings plan. Do you guys have a budget already?
What?
A budget?
Oh, yes.
Okay, is it written down? No? Yes? Melissa?
I just have to, write it on my calendar.
Right? That's good. That's good.
So, because I can look at this calendar and I have my one that I keep in my purse and so I don't, miss something.
Right.
Yeah. One thing we found out in our surveys is only about 70% of Americans do not feel financially secure, right? And of those Americans that don't feel financially secure, over 50% have a budget but just don't stick to it, right? So really bringing it to life and having it written down or guesstimating sometimes and putting it on your refrigerator. And you did a great job. Like I think a calendar,
Yeah.
right? That is such a great, and it's one of those things where you kind of put away probably if company comes. That's what I always think of. Is like when I display things, my friends are really nosy and they read everything, But it maybe post it in your desk or in your bedroom, somewhere where you see it every day. It's great impact. And that's really the vision. So we're going to develop one today, just to kind of go through that together and do on that one. Some things that I want us to kind of go from is the reason we do this is because it's really hard to keep track of where your money goes. It's pretty easy for us to know where money comes from. We work very hard for our money, or we get our benefits, and we know when the check hits our account. Like that is something we're all very in tune with. But sometimes we lose track of where money goes. And I could do a survey in the room right now and say, does everybody know where every dollar they've ever spent is between it, off the top of your head? And most people would be like, maybe Joya, because she's kind of accounting. But the rest of us, including me, I couldn't tell you last week unless I looked at my phone and tried to figure it out. So this is really setting up a plan that sets you up for success for the month. Whether you're going through like a change in income or kind of just evaluating, is this really what I need? Do I need a $700 phone, or should I do this instead? And figuring that out ahead of time, where we're not having to make that decision in the moment, right? Make a decision in the moment, we are way more likely to buy a lot more food at the grocery store when we're hungry, right? It's a great example. So 3 things, it's kind of hard to see on that side, but 3 things that this should be, is it should be balanced. So what that means is you're not overspending. So if you have your income, you'll want to make sure that it's a good balance between your situation. So if you have more expenses than your income, that's going to cause a problem. So we're going to have to talk about that, and that's the reason for the spending plan. Flexible. Life happens, right? I don't know what tomorrow holds. I could get in a wreck on the road right here. You never know. So being flexible with it, not being too intense about it, but making sure it's written down to have a plan, but being able to change that plan in the event it does happen. And then realistic. Right? So you know yourselves better than I do. And sometimes when we put things down, we're like, I'll give you an example where this last week, my spouse and I said, we're only going to eat out once this week. I knew it was a lie. I knew when it came out my mouth, I knew it was a lie, because then I thought about it. And I was like, well, we have to do this week, and this week, and we're not going to want to eat at home. I was like, well, and instead of adjusting it, I just wrote down the lie on our plan, and I was like, oh. I had a little shame moment. So being realistic with yourself is going to get you a lot further, especially when it comes to your financial health and financial goals, all in all. All right, so where your money goes. So how do you guys keep track of where your funds go? So I use my app, and then I'm a techie person, so I like technology, so I have an app on my phone, and then I get texts every time I swipe my card. How about you, Joy?
I also have an app called You Need a Budget, and it syncs, like it pulls in the information from my bank account and my credit card, or at least it's supposed to pull it in real time. But anytime that I spend cash or write a check, I have to remember to put that in separately.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
What about you, Mr.
well, in my checkbook, I have the check register.
Those are wonderful.
So,
Hey, that is one of the best systems, actually. So that's awesome. You have like a checkbook, like is it like on the top where your checks are?
Yeah.
Your little register.
Mhm.
Nice. How about you, Miss Melissa?
Oh,
You said a calendar.
I've got the calendar and everything. My daughter, my youngest daughter, she lives with me because I started having some issues. Hitting the floor when I shouldn't be hitting the floor.
Oh yeah.
And I get aggravated because Christina, spend this, that, and it's like, and then trash it. I'm like, I want every receipt, because I need to, if they need proof, I'll have it.
Yeah.
And she doesn't realize that, and I'm like, bite my tongue.
I understand. I've heard of people having a receipt box.
It's like my parents.
And
That's
that what they do? They do
oh
a receipt
yeah.
box? That's awesome. So
Yeah.
receipt box works for a lot of folks. This is something that we use. It's called a spending tracker. We're actually going to do one of these together, which is part of creating a spending plan. But a spending tracker, so you just write down the day, 1 through 30 usually, except for in February, right? 1 through 31 on the other one. But you kind of put where your money's going on which day, or at the end of the day, you go and you write it in, right? The register works really well because you're doing it in the moment, and it's just a good habit, right? Especially if you're paying a check. But sometimes you use your debit card, and if your checkbook doesn't have a little debit card slot in it, then you're like, oh, let me get this out. So everybody's got a little one. I've heard of another one that's like a notes tab on your phone. So doing it that way. So everybody's got a different way of doing it. So what we're going to look at first, you'll see in your handout, the first one we're going to work on. And there's two sections to this. On the left side is going to be your income. So this is going to be money that comes in every month. So for example, it could be Social Security, it could be work, it could be a part-time job, it could be whatever you're looking at. It's going to be on the left side. And so you can go ahead and write those in. Feel free to. We're going to do this together on that. So like for example, let me see what the wage would be. Average wage in Conway, I think, is like $36,000. I'm just going to use that for my own personal one.
Oh,
So like right here where it says wages, because I'm 30 something. So I'm
so you
working.
want the year, or a year
Monthly.
wage?
Monthly.
Oh, monthly.
Yeah. So 3,600 divided by 12, so mine would be 3,000. So that's what I'm looking at on mine. You'll just write that in, and you can do your own. So if you have other ones and other types of income coming in, or if you don't know it offhand, that's okay. Just do your best to guess. Completely fine.
The one that says my income, wages, and that sort of thing.
Yeah. So you would put it, right here. You put wages. So if you're working, this is where you put your wages. If you have Social Security, you put it there. Interest, whatever, and then you can calculate all of it at the end down there. And this is your monthly. Okay. And a lot of times we do a good job of knowing our income, right? We know when we get paid. We're pretty close to how much it is. Second part of this, you'll see, you're going to see your expenses on the right. This has this split in two different ways. We're just going to, it doesn't have that on your handout, but they just have my expense. And the reason they have a percentage is these are the estimated guidelines to see what we're going to stick in, okay? So the reason we have all this is because every month you have fixed expenses, which are expenses that don't change. So like your mortgage, your car payment, car insurance, that sort of thing. And then you have variable expenses. This is going to be flowers for you, Miss Georgia. your
Oh,
variable
yes,
expenses,
yes.
flowers, especially during the springtime, right?
Eating
For me,
out.
Eating out, Starbucks.
Yeah.
For me over here, eating out's gonna be one on that one. Anything that's gonna be variable, which means it kind of goes up and down. Alright, so this is an example of what your income could look like. So you have 4640 on your wages, a little bit of dividends on there. So we're gonna calculate our expenses. So this is a little bit of math here. I know math makes everybody excited, right? You guys were like, woo, math. Love math. Okay. So you're going to calculate the percentages on this. So for the top one, so see that savings there? It's on the top,
Mhm.
right here. So it says 10% of your income should go towards savings. So if your income is, you calculate your income on the left. I calculated mine as 3,000. You would do 3,000 times 0.1. And then that would give you a kind of around the area you should be spending towards savings on that one. And I'll go around and help out. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to make a spending plan for the month. Okay, we're going to do this together. So there's a little bit more informational part on this one, but this is going to be interactive, and we're going to do this with each other. So this is what we're looking at. So I told you my income was 3,000. You remember? So 3,000 over an income. So this is what I recommend you do every month, is to sit down, spend an hour, maybe two, whatever you need, to write everything down. And it's going to be really important on that one. You guys can't see my screen, can you? There we go. Okay, so we're going to move on to this section right here, which is my personal spending tracker. We're going to use this for a little bit. So, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of write it all out. What we know of, right? We don't know our water heater's going out. My water heater could have went out when I'm at this class, right? I don't know that one. But we're going to write out what we do know, okay? So first step is wages. We do know how much money is coming in generally, so you'll write your wages in right there. If you know the date, you can put the dates that they come in on the left side. But if you don't know the dates, that's okay. We can move forward from that one. So we're gonna say I get paid on the 15th every month. Okay. Next is savings. So you guys did your goal for savings and kind of what it looks like. But this is what you really put in here, right? So if I looked at mine, let's just say I put like $10 in here. So I'm gonna put in the debit section. This is money coming out. I do $10. Retirement. For me personally, I'm making it away. Don't really have any money at the end of the month, so I'm just gonna put 0. And you would put 0 too if your retirement's taken out of your gross income, and your actual take home is 3,000. So, for example, if 3,000 is we're acting like 3,000 is your net, which means it's coming into your paycheck. That's money I actually have access to. So, if you do your own retirement plan on the side, then you would credit that where you want to. Okay. All right. How much is my house going to cost? Any ideas?
$263 a month.
Is that how much you would do?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do 263. So generally, well, so you have, that's how much your house costs. That's why you said that. Okay, makes sense. So for rent on that one, average is like 700 to 800 usually. So you're killing it on your house payment. I asked her, Joya, if she would like to switch house payments
Oh,
because her house payment's 263.
yeah,
Wouldn't that be nice?
that would be very nice.
You got everybody wanting to switch your house payments.
Yeah.
So we'll look at like average. So my average for me, I'm gonna say I have a roommate. It's like 450. But you'll put whatever yours is on the sheet. All right, I have a spot for taxes and insurance. So because I'm financing my house, I don't pay for my taxes and insurance. My lender does. So I'm in this situation. I'm an apartment holder, so I'm just gonna put 0.
Oh, so car insurance is on here later.
Correct.
We're just still in the housing
Yes, ma'am.
frame of mind.
Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we're going over housing.
Gotcha.
Okay. Any other housing expenses we know about for the month? Flowers? We buying flowers this month?
Oh, yes. Oh,
Alright.
yes.
So I know who I am. I know, oh, like we put Girl Scout cookies later in food, that'll be me. So how much did we put down for flowers, you think?
$300.
300? So that's what we'll put in there. Any other house expenses?
I'm maybe gonna have to call somebody to fix my refrigerator.
Refrigerator, maybe fridge?
Yeah.
So we could even, and you can even do this. This is yours. So if you wanted to put like fridge, if I can spell, you can put fridge and put a question mark. Like it may or may not happen this month, but we're gonna see if we can plan for it.
Yeah.
What's the fridge? Like 1,000?
Well, it's a maintenance call, so hopefully,
Okay.
100.
$100?
Hopefully.
Let's do it. All right.
Okay, so this brings up a good question, because like the other day, and I wasn't really counting on this, I got a letter from Delta Pest Control,
Yeah.
and they'd gone up for $188, and I'm thinking, do I really need to do that? You know?
Is that your termite policy?
Yeah, termite.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so your lender probably requires you to keep the termite policy, but if it's just supplemental, they come and spray for bugs, then that might be more in your discretion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because termites, and especially in Arkansas, they're really bad. It's one like it causes a lot of home damage, so I would highly recommend termite.
Okay.
For our geolocation, we have a lot of trees, natural state, right? So termite policy would be highly recommended. But there is those like door-to-door salesmen like you're talking about, where they come and they like do preventative,
Mhm.
killing spiders, so they don't run in your house, that sort of thing. And it's up to you, I guess. Okay. Any other housing costs? We got pest control, flowers, fridge, question mark? All right. Now we're moving into utilities. So these are going to be things that are, you have to utilize or are going to be on there for you. So water, what does our water bill look like? $50? $60? Say 60?
Anybody with Conway Corp, it's hard because all that's bundled.
Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
look at their itemized statement.
Yeah.
So, and you can put them together. So, like I said, it's flexible, right? So if you needed to, you could just take this and I'm doing this electronically. You could just put, instead of water, you can put Conway Corp. And then it comes with cable too, right?
It's all on the same bill.
So what does that normally cost? Like 300, 200 for everything?
Yeah, ours is like about 300-ish.
300?
Okay, now here's another thing, let me ask you a
Yeah.
question on this, because like gas, my heat and my stove are gas, in my hot water heater is gas.
Yeah.
So like in the summertime, my gas bill isn't like $20.
Yeah, it's like 50.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, so how do you figure that? Do you just average it like, but in the wintertime, it's like 200 and something?
Yeah. Well, this plan is just for April or May.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, so you do this once a month.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the goal of this exercise, is for this kind of behavior to happen about
Okay,
once
so
every
then I
30
need to
days.
put down what I actually.
Yeah, it'd probably be like $12. Internet? Anybody have internet? No?
That's part of Conway Corp, so.
Okay, so that's all together. I don't know what they cover, so you gotta give me a heads up on that.
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
not gas, but it's water, sewer,
Okay, gas bill.
trash, electricity, internet.
Gotcha. All right, phone. What about a phone bill? Cell phone?
Yeah,
What's your
56,
about 56?
mine's $56.
What yours?
55.
55? Okay.
Mm.
Pretty weird.
What's yours, Joya?
Well, mine's $30 and my husband's $35. So.
That's great. Okay, that's good.
Oh,
I did one of these workshops in Little Rock, and the highest phone bill I ever heard, there was like $2,800 a month.
What?
Oh.
It's probably a get a new phone every 6 months kind of plan.
Yep. So she has like all the bells and whistles, and it takes like half her income.
What?
Good gravy.
And of course we were going through this, and she was kind of like stressed about it. She had that shame, that's something you gotta watch with the finances, is that shame. It's like, that's what we're here for, is to help out, And she was like, I don't even know why, but she works at AT&T. That's what she is. My spouse works at AT&T. So I literally was like, just shoot me your bill. If you'll email it to me, I will help you, I promise. I promise. But yeah, so phone bills can be really high, right? Especially if you buy a phone, or if you do the upgrade program, or get insurance, that sort of stuff. But $60 is generally the minimum. All right, anything else in utilities? There's about 3 spots here. Anything I missed? All good? Moving on? All good? Okay. Next is transportation. So this is going to be your car payment, your cars, if you have a car payment. Average car payment in America is about $700, actually. So,
Wow.
yeah, it is. It's a big deal, but mine is only like $250. So I'm gonna put mine on there. But the average car payment in America is $700. Insurance, my insurance is a little high because of my age. It's like $150. It did go down. It was $300 before I turned 26. And then gas bill, I'll probably spend like $30 a month or $30 a week on gas bill. I drive a lot, so So you just pick whatever you guys want on that one. If you know of like, if you have a car wash subscription, that would go in transportation because you're paying a monthly fee for a car wash. If you have like a maintenance or a warranty, don't recommend those because if you get 20 scam calls a day, 90% of them are car warranty, which is a bad sign. But if you have a car warranty, that would go in transportation at this time. So you can just write that in. Okay. Next, streaming. So Netflix, Hulu, like not me. Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, any sort of streaming service you have can go in here. So you would just write them all out. So I just put streaming service because I didn't want to make anybody offended that I didn't mention one, so I'm just going to use mine. So like Netflix. Joey, do you have any other ones?
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus, that's a good one. Could be, music for mine is Apple Music. And you can write that in. Like, this is all you guys. Like, you can write whatever it helps you, just like you do in your register, whatever you write there. You can do that on a monthly basis where you're like, I know this is coming out, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm going to spend that. Alright. Good on streaming services. So I'm going to say Disney Plus is like $10.
It's like $12 now.
It's $12.
Yeah.
That's why my spending plan is flexible. We got pencils and pens on the table.
Right.
We typed them in. Alright, Netflix is like 20 now. My Apple Music's 15. It's like a family plan. Okay. I put daycare because that's something that a lot of people have to factor in. I don't have any kids. It is a very big financial decision to have kids, but I don't have any time to worry about it. That would be another one you could plan for. What are some other expenses that we know that's
Prescriptions.
prescriptions? Okay, I like it. Prescriptions could be medical, right?
Yeah.
So prescriptions a month, 100, 200? You have a plan?
Mine's 40.
40? Oh, that's nice. That's great. I'm gonna steal your number. I don't have anything like that, so I don't know. Alright, what else? Anything else you spend money on, Melissa? On a month?
I try to keep things as simple as possible. Or something. Hey, when I sit there and then I get distracted and then
We don't have food on here anywhere yet.
You're right.
There was a question I was gonna ask, but I can't recall it at the moment.
Okay. Let me know if you remember it.
Okay.
Alright. So thank you, Joya. You stole it from my mouth here.
I was
So-
gonna say that's like the second largest line item in my budget,
Exactly.
so that better be here.
Exactly. So you'll notice we haven't talked about food yet, right? And the reason that is when you're doing your spending plan, it is going to be on there. I just didn't write it in there because it's really hard to think about it on a monthly perspective. But you can, absolutely. So what I usually recommend you do is usually put grocery and the day that you're going to go on your grocery trip. Highly recommend it. So for example, I go on my grocery trip on Sundays. So I would literally put grocery trip 4/9. Okay? And the reason that is, it has a good intention, and this is about avoiding our impulses, because I'm very impulsive. I told you I'm a click lister, right? I have to, otherwise I'm very impulsive. So putting the week you're gonna go is gonna be helpful, but it's also gonna make sure you stay in budget. So for example, my grocery week for this first week maybe only be $60. But if I look at 4/16, oh, I have an event on 4/18 with all my friends coming, right? So I can plan for it. I can go to my spending plan, type in grocery 4/18, and know that it's probably gonna be an extra $100 that week. Right? So I usually break it out by week or by grocery trip, because it'll tell you how much money you have for that trip, and you can adjust it from there at the end. Okay?
Yeah. Eating out, that's another thing.
That's coming next. Yeah, coming next. Intentionality is really, really important, right? When it comes to finances, that's what gets people in trouble, is we're very much not intentional, we're not thoughtful. Mindfulness is just not a thing in Western culture, right? So taking the pause to think through, oh, did you remember?
Well, no, but I'm looking at the grocery and it's got 4.9 and the other one's 4.18 and I'm like trying to figure that one out.
Oh, it's the date.
Okay,
Yeah, so I'm going to the grocery store on the 9th, which is tomorrow.
okay.
Yeah, and then I go every Sunday, so then I'm gonna go grocery shopping again on the 18th.
Okay, okay.
And so I'm planning to spend about $60 tomorrow, because what my normal budget is. But the next week, I got a bunch of friends coming over, 160. Okay? That's why it's on that one. Okay? And you can continue to do that. So next is like eating out. Right? I know that my brother's birthday is on 4/26, and we're gonna go out to eat, and I'm gonna buy him food. How many people are going? What do you think? Me, my brother, my spouse, maybe his spouse, maybe you got a kid. So what do you guys think I'm gonna spend on that eating out? Depends on where we're going. Let's see. We're going somewhere nice. What about Mike's